For many of us, like I said, this is probably one of the top 5 worst situations I personally have been involved in or seen. The investigation, by the way, is not over. It's going to continue. But we have come to the conclusion that Mrs. Samantha Green was the sole individual responsible for the death of her child. At this point here, we don't have anyone else that was involved. That is not to say that we're going to terminate the investigation. It's still ongoing. Once it leaves us, it's going to be given to the district attorney's office, and we've been working with them collectively, as we have with our CSI team, our deputy coroners, our investigators. It is something that like, as I indicated previously, it touched our souls, and we wanted to make sure that we were very slow and methodical in coming to this determination. I was asked several times in the last week if Mrs. Green was a suspect. Anybody that was involved in the case at in any level was a person of interest, not from a suspect or criminal point of view, but the mere fact that we wanted to speak to him. Mrs. Green, along with the baby's father, was also people of concern, people we wanted to speak to, families. We have spoken to numerous individuals. Certain allegations that we were not under, that we could not substantiate, we looked into them. If an allegation was, if we were confronted with a concern or an allegation, we looked into it. One of the most important aspects of doing a good investigation, that you start at a level that you're totally unbiased, and all we do is look at the facts. Just the facts. Evidential information is the best. We cannot speculate. We cannot have biased opinions of anybody or anyone. We make sure that what we do and what we collect is factual information to the best of our abilities and to the best of our skills. I think we are extraordinarily fortunate that we have a team in the community that has also suffered through this by their own connection, even at a distant connection. I want everybody to feel secure that we have and we will continue to do our best to find a final solution in this particular case. We don't have any particular motive at this point, no. It's a murder charge. The DA will determine what level of murder, but right now it's a murder charge. She was taken into custody this morning at 15 minutes after 12.
And where was she at that time?
She was having a discussion with the investigators. Here, yes.
Learned?
Well, I think we learned that, somewhere in around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, she ended up in Dunnigan, in the Dunnigan area. Excuse me, Knights Landing. That threw you guys off. Knights Landing, and what transpired between the different time frames is something that later will probably be discussed during the DA's presentation once it if it ever goes to trial.
Can you comment at all, have the investigators talked about her frame of mind in interviewing her yesterday?
Well, she seemed to be a lot more stable yesterday than she was before, and that's understandable. She's been out in the elements for a day and a half. She was cold, she was dehydrated. She seemed to be yesterday, from my understanding, and from what the detectives indicated, she was much more coherent, a lot more responsive, seemed to respond to questions that were asked, where before she seemed to be not supposed, I don't want to use the term hesitant or evasive, she just wasn't sure. But I think that probably had more to do with her physical condition.
So she's cooperative?
She was cooperative, yes.
Sir, on Wednesday,
during the course of the investigation, the time frame that she gave, the individuals that allegedly were involved, we were able to establish that those particular individuals or individual could not have been at that particular location at the time that she indicated this took place. Again, certain statements were made, we followed up on them, certain names were given, we followed up with the names, we made sure that there was time frames connected to it. Could they substantiate where they were, them, she, he, whatever. And like I said, it was just a slow, methodical method of doing it. We didn't want to jump to any conclusions. And we normally do not jump to conclusions. Like I said, our job is to go out there and do just an investigation that's going to establish the facts of what transpired to the best of our ability. And we always depend on the community to give us information. We depend on family members. We depend on on factual information. We depend on a lot of different issues. In today's world, technology is so important. You know, you have cameras, you have, you know, they claim, well, you know, we got gas at a certain time. Well, we go check. You say, did you get gas at that particular time? You know, and they claim, well, this happened or that happened. We try to confirm that it did happen or did not happen. And like I said, the detective just did a real exceptional job in trying to determine what transpired, approaching it from a totally unbiased approach, you know, because it is a sensitive nature. It is, you know, you sit there and you look at a 20-day-old child, and you're looking at that, and you know it's tragic. But you know, I think it's really important to understand too. It's not only tragic to the community. I can only imagine what her family is going through. I can only imagine what her family is going through if we have been affected by it. And I say we. I speak of myself and my officers. If we have been impacted to the level that some of us have been impacted, I can only imagine what her family is going through. And we have to be sympathetic to that at some level.
Those first few hours after she was found, were you guys scrambling, trying to find what she claimed to have been a possible kidnapper?
Oh, absolutely. Well, once we discovered that the investigation, once we start hearing or listening to what she was making comments of, the investigation was initiated immediately. The number one priority was finding the child. That was the number one. It was a rescue operation, and that's what we started off as, a rescue.